सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ गङ्गणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रीराधाकृष्णाय नमः। ॐ श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Welcome everyone, and welcome also to those watching online. Those of you who are expecting to see Swamiji here, if you're disappointed, you're welcome to leave. He got up this morning wanting to teach. He had meant to teach, but he's not doing too well today. So we'll see how this class goes, because I was not quite prepared. I never know whether I should always have like a preparation ready or not, but we'll see. It's meditation, so everybody is in their own minds, doing their own thing. So we just completed the second verse in our Sadhana Panchakam class that we just finished. And one of the lines, the second verse had this line, Bhagavataha bhaktihi dridha adhiyatam. Adhiyatam meaning learn or cultivate. Learn or cultivate what? Bhaktihi, devotion or worship or bhakti. What kind of bhakti? Dridha bhakti, meaning firm or intense devotion. For whom? Bhagavataha, towards God, for God. So I thought we'll take that up as a theme for this meditation. And we can keep it a little interactive just to make it more interesting. You know, when Swamiji teaches, we don't have an opportunity to ask questions. But how many of you have, firstly, let me ask you, what does bhakti mean to you? What is the expression, your expression of bhakti for you? And there's no judgment here. For everybody it's different. So if somebody wants to answer without feeling shy. Yes? Love towards God. Love towards God. What does that mean? What does love towards God mean? How does it express itself? Yes, Subodhini. Yeah.
A personal relationship.
A personal relationship towards God. How does it express itself? Conversation, sure, you're talking to God, yes.
To me, bhakti means dedication to your profession and human beings.
Bhakti is dedication to profession, okay. Yes?
Everyone around us, our family, or it is a workplace, doesn't matter. But we should see God in each and every person. That way show our bhakti to God.
Oh, that's a beautiful thought. So she's saying, our family, our obnoxious co-workers, our people in our lives, whether we like them or not, we have to show love towards them. Great thought. Does it happen? Yes.
Just to follow through on the words you just said. Sorry, I don't know your name, but might be a good idea. I think in a broader sense, bhakti to Bhagwan is to express in our actions that God would like us to do.
So bhakti for him is expressing in actions what God would like us to do. How many of us know what God would like us to do? And how many of us express that? These are all great thoughts, great sentiments, great answers. But I'm asking, what does it mean to you? How do you express bhakti?
To me, bhakti is like feeling that sense of security. Like, I don't feel alone when I'm doing a bhakti. I feel like there's somebody there to be with me. Like, that emotional strength that we talked about in the last class. I think that is what bhakti means to me.
So her answer is bhakti is feeling that emotional strength. But you said something that I want to catch. You said doing a bhakti. What does that doing a bhakti mean?
I'm not saying doing a bhakti, but
During a bhakti. So what is during? So that's what I'm trying to get at. What is bhakti? How do you express bhakti? Maybe that's what I should ask.
For me, it's chanting.
Okay, so chanting, that's very concrete answer. Kirtan, bhakti is chanting. At the back, somebody had their hands raised. Yeah.
Combination of Aishwarya and Madhurya, the greatness of one and having a love like a little child, Krishnaji. Combination of that.
Combination of greatness and smallness and the love. How does that express for you? What do you do to show that love for the great and for the infinite and for the finite? That's what I'm asking. At the back, yeah.
I express bhakti every morning because I do it morning, but give the Nam.
I'm sorry, can you speak a little louder? Little louder, yeah.
Okay, through japa, I do my japa,
Okay.
meditation, and I read Amritwani.
Okay. So her expression of bhakti is doing japa and reading the Amritvani. So that's what I'm trying to get at. What are the expressions that you have to show? What are the practices that you have to show your bhakti?
I read somewhere there are these 9 criteria which expresses your bhakti, and that's like hearing, chanting.
Hold on, let me interrupt you. Those 9 criteria, Navavidha Bhakti, very nice in the textbook, in the scripture. What of that do you follow? Supposed to follow all. Excellent, but which one do you actually follow?
It depends on the time of the day. Like, you don't have to do it at least for me, I don't think that it is something dedicated for a period of time. Sometimes I do chanting, sometimes it's just the feeling. You don't have to do anything. Just
Okay.
feeling it is bhakti.
Okay, so we got enough variations from people. But okay, one more at the back. Yeah, Naren?
Oh, yeah, bhakti used to be, when I was young, more like asking for favors.
Used to be asking for favors when you were young, and now what is it?
Now it's more like trying to figure out, what this whole thing is, what's right. And
So trying to figure out what this whole thing is. What do you do for that?
it can be in the form of prayers, meditation, trying to learn the scriptures.
Okay, so all of you have gotten it, and I'm just giving you guys a hard time in answering specifically. So prayer, meditation, puja, chanting, japa, reading, listening to a class, all these can be expressions of bhakti. And this verse in the Sadhana Panchakam said Bhagavataha bhakti dridha adhiyatam. So develop, cultivate that firmly. And somebody has said, okay, one day I feel like doing puja, one day I feel like doing japa, one day I feel like listening to a class. Or better still, once a week I come here and I meditate. That is bhakti for me. Or I do puja, I do a fasting on Ekadashi. That is bhakti for me. Those are all good practices, but are you really cultivating a dridha bhakti, a firm devotional practice, devotional relationship with God? Somebody here said, I talk to God, which is great, but how do we cultivate this dridha bhakti, firm bhakti for Ishvara, for God? And obviously, puja is one of the best ways, because when you do a puja, you are using your hands. So puja encompasses three aspects. Your physical aspect, because you are using your hands, and I'm waving this because I'm, imagine the arti light the lamp in my hand. For those of you who don't know what a puja looks like, you'll be wondering, why is she waving her hand in front of her? So offering the lamp to the altar, to the deity, you have, ringing of the bell, you have agarbatti. So there's a lot of physical activity, offering flowers. There's a lot of physical activity, actions that are required in a puja. After the first step, after you do some of these actions, one of the steps in the puja is sankalpa. Sankalpa and dhyana. Sankalpa means taking a statement of intent. Why am I sitting here to do this puja today? What is my aim? What is my goal in doing this puja today? And then there is dhyanam. So you cannot, after you do all this hand waving and offering flowers and all that, you sit to do your puja and your mind is somewhere else. Your mind is on your to-do list, or your mind is, I kept something on the gas, is it burning? Obviously, you need to focus your mind on the activity that you're about to perform. So that's where the dhyanam, the meditation part of the puja comes. So you're using your mind to do the puja. Then your vachika, you are saying prayers. You are saying, either you're chanting your mantra aloud, or you're doing archana, the offering of flowers at the altar, saying 108 names, 1008 names of that particular deity. So puja really is a great way to cultivate this firm bhakti. All the other things that you guys mentioned obviously are helpful, are great, and many of us have seen them in text. You should be like this. You should develop compassion. Look at everybody in the world in the same way. I have there are 9 steps to different kinds of bhakti. All that is great, but the fundamental practice, the fundamental aspect of bhakti is to do it, is to cultivate it in a very practical, in a very tangible way. And puja is a great way to do that. A second question now. You had a question? No. A second question. How many of you do puja every day? Okay, about 1/3, little more than 1/3. How many of you do pujas on special occasions, festivals? Diwali? Diwali? Yeah. About the same. How many of you don't do puja at all? And it's fine. It's fine. Whatever your answer is fine. Especially for people who are not brought up in this tradition. As a Hindu, puja might be a very foreign concept to you. Unless you were, if you're in the Roman Catholic Church, they have a very formal ritual for prayer. But I have to tell you, if Swamiji, our Swamiji, who grew up in a very different culture than most of us sitting in this room, could cultivate and develop this love for puja, this dridha bhakti, there's no excuse for any of us. So the meditation today we are going to do, obviously we're not going to do a literal puja here. The invitation is really for you, for all of us. If you have a practice, occasional practice, try and convert it to a more regular practice. If it's only on festivals, maybe do it on a few more days in the month besides the festival days. If it is occasional, a weekly, and I understand, we all have busy schedules, so that's the other thing, talking about schedule. So if you have a busy schedule and you are sitting to do a puja and you have to leave for work in 15 minutes, very likely your mind is not going to be fully involved or enveloped, engrossed in that puja. It might, it really depends on your upbringing, your discipline. And many times, if you've been doing a puja every day, the puja can become very mechanical. One, it becomes mechanical because you're doing it every day. And two, if you have 15 minutes, that's your time slot in the morning to do the puja, it can become mechanical and not really have any meaning. So suggestion is to pick a time that is not going to make it so mechanical. A time where you have a little bit more leisure, and leisure and time sometimes, don't go in the same sentence together. But maybe you can cut back 15 minutes on watching that YouTube channel or talking to somebody, discussing, we saw in the class, discussing stuff, discussing politics, discussing extroverted activities that don't really contribute to our growth. So consider changing some aspect. If you have a daily practice, great. If you have an occasional practice, try and make it more regular, and whatever frequency that works for you would be the thing to do. And for somebody who doesn't have a practice at all, I would suggest educate yourself on the 16 steps of puja and the symbolism, what each of them mean. We're not going to talk about it in the class today, but I don't remember if Swamiji has a video out on it, but if not, at some other time we will discuss the steps of the puja, so that you know why you're doing each step. And as Swamiji many times says, if a child growing up in this country, the parents drag him to the temple, and at the end of Aarti, you're supposed to take that Aarti lamp to your eyes, and the child refuses to. The mom says, imagine a 8-year-old boy, and the mother says, take the lamp to your eyes, and the child says, why? And the mother answers, because I tell you to. It might work for an 8-year-old, that's also doubtful, but how about for a 15-year-old? Not likely to work. So you need to explain. Just telling the child, because I did it, doesn't work. The child, I know of children who turn around and tell their parents, hey, you grew up in India, just because you were poor doesn't mean I need to be. Just because you couldn't afford a pair of shoes, or you wore one pair of shoes all your life, why should I wear one pair of shoes all my life? So it's a different culture you need, and it's a different environment that your children are growing up in. So it's important to educate yourself first, so that you can teach your child correctly. What is the significance of taking that lamp, Aarti light, to your eyes? So for meditation today, we are going to do a puja, not in the physical form of a puja, but a manasa puja, a mental puja. And several advantages of this. For one, if you don't have a dedicated altar at your home, or you don't have a place where you have some deities, an assigned space for doing puja, you can sit with your eyes closed in your comfortable home and do a manasa puja. You can be in your favorite temple or favorite location where you connected with God most. And for many people, this is nature, seeing a beautiful sunrise, or something like yesterday when we had that really strong winds in the evening. It was a powerful expression of God's, Ishvara's order. So that can be very empowering to feel connected to God. So anything that really makes you connected to God is bhakti, is developing that. But for our purpose today, we are going to do a manasa puja, a mental worship of Ishvara, of a deity. For the exercise, for the meditation to work, firstly I need to ask you, does everybody know what an Ishta Devata is? What is your... I shouldn't ask. So in Hindu scriptures, in Hindu culture, we have an advantage that we can choose our favorite god. We can choose who we want to, who we love the most. You know, when you ask a parent who has 5 children, what child do you like the most? Obviously the parent, even if they do, they're not, a wise parent is not going to say, I love my firstborn the most. But we as bhaktas, as devotees, as sadhakas, we have the option to choose which god we like. And I think there are 3.3 lakh deities, devatas that Hinduism gives us. So you have a wide plethora, you know, like the buffet dishes. You have a huge amount of choices that you can pick. I know for those of you who have not grown up in this culture may not have an Ishta Devata. And can I just ask if somebody to raise your hands if you don't have an Ishta Devata, somebody who you connect to? Okay. And if you don't, you can pick. It's going to be a little difficult for you, but you can pick wherever you feel the expression of Ishvara, God, the most. It can be a scene in nature, a sunset, or beach, but I will not guide you for that. But you can just imagine, we're going to go through a manasa puja, the actual steps that we do during an actual puja. So it might be a little difficult. You can, if you connect to any deity on the altar, that's fine too. And I know some of you are Arya Samajis whose main form of worship is Havan or Homa. You can connect to that fire if that works for you as an expression of God. Okay, so if the rest of you have an Ishta Devata, think of a mantra or any, I think a mantra that for that particular deity that resonates with you. So for example, if you think of Rama, you can just think of a mantra, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Or Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or Dakshinamurti, or Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya. Whatever is your Ishta Devata, think of a mantra that connects you to that Ishta Devata, because that's what you will be using. We're not all going to use one mantra. You will be using that mantra for your manasa puja, for your mental worship. And for those of you who don't have a mantra, I will be using the Om Ishaya Namaha, because Isha literally just means God in any form. Ishaya Namaha. We'll be using that as, I will be reciting that aloud, and you can, if you don't have a mantra, you can use that mantra. Okay, so that's enough about talking. Let's sit down, close our eyes, get ready for meditation. Usha, this one too. Thank you. Okay, so let's get prepared for this meditation by sitting up fairly straight in your chair, backs fairly straight. You don't need to be rigid, but you need to be comfortable. Sit in a comfortable posture so that the posture doesn't distract you during the meditation. And gently closing your eyes. And your hands can sit on your lap, on your thigh, either on each thigh, or they can be crossed together, fingers clasped together. Just take a moment to become aware of the fact that you're seated here, sitting on a chair, in a comfortable, relaxed, comfortable yet alert posture as we get ready for our manasa puja, for our mental worship of Ishvara, of our Ishta Devata, of our chosen deity. Take a moment to relax your body. Notice if there's tightness you're holding in any parts of your body, and just let it go, release the tension. Kind of do a quick body scan. Scan your body from head to toe, and just notice if there are any muscles that you're holding tight without even knowing it. And take a deep breath and release it. Release the tension as you breathe out. Release the tension from your body. Take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, release any tightness, any tension, any discomfort you might be holding in your body. Continue to take a few breaths, observing your breath, breathing. As you breathe in and out, there's no need to change the pattern of your breathing. You're just aware that you're breathing. Just observe your breathing. As you inhale, as you exhale out, and the gap between the next breath. Just observe without changing your breathing pattern. This is not pranayama, this is just observing your breath. And with each exhale, let go of more tightness, any lingering tension in any part of the body. Now we can get ready for this guided mental visualization, manasa puja, mental puja, by first imagining ourselves being seated in front of our Ishta Devata, our chosen deity for today. It can be either at your home, in front of your altar, or in some ashrama or temple that you have visited, and you have your Ishta Devata. Imagine yourself sitting at the feet of your chosen deity, sitting close enough to your deity that you can almost touch the feet of your deity. Imagine yourself sitting there, looking at the form of your chosen deity, taking in the form in as much detail as you can, looking at the face of the deity. And if you don't have a deity, a murti, you can think of a picture picture of your chosen deity. Looking at the posture, if your deity is seated or standing. Looking at the clothes that are draped, the color of the clothes of your deity. And if there are things that the deity is holding in his or her hands, maybe a book, maybe a mala. Visualize in as much detail as you can how your Ishta Devata looks, appears to you. And you're seated right at the foot of the deity, looking up, looking at your deity. And soaking in the beauty of the form. You also have, where you're seated, you have a huge tray or basket of flowers, a huge plate of flowers. All varieties of flowers, all colors of flowers. Flowers which have beautiful fragrances. You have a big plate of flowers sitting next to you, within reaching distance. There is a lamp on the altar that is lit, and the lamp is flickering. There is incense sticks that have been lit at the altar where you're seated, and you get the fragrance of the incense stick as they blow, as they continue to burn. Visualize all this in immense detail. There is also a plate or a bowl of naivedyam or fruits that you want to offer at the end of puja, at the end of this worship. Visualize the fruits that are in the bowl. Different varieties, different colors. And as you sit there at your mental altar, you are making a sankalpa, a statement for yourself to say that just for the next 10 to 15 minutes, your attention is going to be on this manasa puja, on this mental worship of your Ishta Devata, of your favorite, beloved God. And as you get ready to begin your puja, we're going to do a very simplified version of the 16-step puja. The main step we will be focusing on is offering archana, which are the flowers that are sitting in front of you. And we will be doing manasa japa, a mental worship, a mental recitation of your mantra to your Ishtadevata. Each of you will have a different mantra in mind. Each of you has a different deity in mind. Each of you has a different plate of flowers in front of you. For those of you who don't have a mantra in mind, I will use the mantra Om Ishaya Namaha, Om invoking Brahman, invoking Ishvara, Namaha salutations or bowing down unto Ishaya, unto a generic form of Ishvara, any form of Ishvara. So with each recitation of the mantra, I will recite the mantra out aloud, Om Ishaya Namaha. You recite your mantra mentally, and with each recitation of the mantra, you imagine yourself offering handful of flowers at the feet of your Ishtadevata. With each recitation, with each mental recitation of your mantra, you can take a handful of flowers from your plate of flowers and offer it at the feet of your deity. Visualize how the flowers fall as you're offering them. Visualize how they will scatter around the feet of your deity. Take in the smells of the agarbatti, the fragrance of the flowers, as we begin our manasa puja. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 Now stop offering the flowers and your mental recitation of your mantra, and sit there at your altar or in front of your Ishtadevata, sensing the presence of Ishvara, of your favorite deity, within you, feeling the blessed, holy atmosphere at the feet of your deity. Keeping your eyes closed at your altar, just feel the effects of this manasa puja as you sit there enveloped, feeling the presence of Ishvara around you, in you. Feeling this blessedness that you can take with you throughout the day, that you can carry with you as you go about your activities. So we'll just sit here in silence for a minute or two, feeling the environment, feeling the atmosphere after doing a puja of your Ishtadevata. So as we come to the end of this manasa puja, you can imagine yourself bowing down to your deity, offering your namaskara at the end of the puja, and feeling the presence of Ishvara within you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So that concludes our brief manasa puja. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready and stretch out if you need to. We have a few minutes before the class ends, so does anybody want to share anything they felt or experienced, did not, fell asleep? I guess everybody is blissed out. Yes?
Getting back to bhakti, I wanted to share, bhakti to me is complete surrender to God. It is Ishvara's wish, whatever I am.
Complete surrender. Okay. So how many of you felt completely surrendered during this manasa puja? Good. Well, you may not have, but I'm just following up on her remark. Any thoughts to share? Yeah.
Yeah, I could not stay focused if I use my own mantra when we were chanting, so I switched to yours.
Yeah, so she couldn't stay focused with her mantra while I was chanting, and I realized that while I was chanting that might have been a difficult thing for you. I just wanted you to have a sense of this practice of this manasa japa, you can be, and this for this puja it's really easy. You don't have to go buy fruits, you don't have to go buy flowers. You can invent your own, so you can do it at any place, really. You don't have to go to a temple or go to a particular place. So that was the idea, to give you this practice flavor for this kind of meditation. And I know it may not have worked, especially for some of you who may not have a deity. I'm just curious to know, did it work? What were you focusing on? There were a bunch of you. Yeah. Ocean. So were you offering flowers at the ocean, to the ocean? Oh, that's wonderful. So she envisioned the ocean and offering flowers to the ocean, and they were being carried away by the waves. That's such a nice imagery. Yes?
Normally when I think of puja, I think of Aarti.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, when we do Aarti like Jai Ganesha, you go through all of them. You don't pray to only Krishna, Shiva, you go through all the deities, right? You're not focusing on one god or one goddess.
Did you have a question, or you're just...
I'm not questioning, I'm just saying, you were saying you focus on one, but normally when you do Aarti, you go through everyone.
So Aarti is, even Aarti, usually they do it to the main, like if you go to a temple, the Aarti is usually done, the Jai Jagadisha Hare is done to the main deity in the altar. In temples where you have multiple deities, they will offer a specific Aarti prayer for each deity. At home, I'm presuming people who do Aarti have all different deities at their altar. So there's no harm in that, but for the meditation, the instruction was one, so that you can connect at a very... Sometimes when you have a buffet of, say, 10 things, usually you like one dish more than the others, right? So that was the idea, is to pick the one that you connect to the most.
I don't believe that it's mandatory to have a deity for meditation. I've been meditating for the last some 30 years, and I have been just doing meditation with the Gayatri mantra,
Mm-hmm.
the Ishvara, Supreme Lord. And so that is my belief, and I thoroughly am into that Ishvara Spiti Prarthana Upasana.
So his comment is, he doesn't think it's necessary to have a deity for meditation, and that's perfectly okay. You use the Gayatri mantra for meditation. So this is what we call Saguna Brahma Ishvara. So a deity, a Saguna Brahma in the form, with a guna, with a quality. So that can be a physical form. Gayatri mantra is also a form. It's not a physical form, but it's some form. And it's fine if you don't have a deity, but when you're just starting a new practice, it's just more tangible. If you are expected to worship, or if you think Brahman is, I shouldn't say if you think, we all know who've been coming here, Brahman is the ultimate reality. How will you pray to Brahman? Brahman is formless, all-pervasive. So I think there was a joke Swamiji would crack. The Unitarian Church, I think they have this prayer, if I remember, the words may not be exact, to a God, all-pervasive God, if you exist, wherever you exist. All-pervasive God means everywhere, so you don't really have to have a form. But for an expression, which was what I was asking when we started this class, what is your expression of showing this bhakti? You cannot show a bhakti to all-pervasive Brahman. It's an intellectual understanding. It's an understanding. Starts intellectually, but then leads to a conviction, a truth for yourself. you can't pray to all-pervasive Brahman. So having some form, a deity or a mantra or a japa is helpful. One, to focus. Let me ask you, even today in the 15 minutes or so that we meditated, did your mind wander away from your deity? Yes. Imagine if you didn't have a deity, how much more your mind is going to wander. A deity, I mean any kind of an alambana, pratima is a physical symbol of a deity or a mental symbol of a deity. So it just seems practical to start baby steps, right? You start with something that works for you, and then once you advance in your practice, you can drop the Saguna Brahma. You can drop the worship of a form, a worship of Ishvara with a form. Okay, any other thoughts, comments? Yeah.
I think visualization is a great technique that you can use in manas puja. I mean, you're literally visualizing, and that focuses your attention.
Yes, so
Like that technique sometimes.
yes, so the visualization, especially when I said think of the agarbatti, the incense smells and the flowers, visualize it can, for some people that's a really good tool to focus, because even though you're focusing in your mind, so to say, you're focusing on your mental image of yourself, so that helps to focus and concentrate the mind. Okay, we will end with our closing prayers. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you next time.